HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time I've got another bottle of beer from the fantastic Siren Craft Brew in Fitchamstead, Berkshire. And it's a bottle of their Bones of a Sailor Part 3. It sounds fantastic though. It's an Imperial Porter aged in PX barrels with raspberries, cacao and vanilla. PX meaning Pedro Ximenez. Excuse my Catalonian lisp. So a Spanish grape. From what I can make out, it's used for both sherry and for wine. So red wine, I think it is as well. So I'm presuming it's red wine barrels. Sounds great though. I mean, the Siren don't idly put things in barrels. Really, they really know what they're doing with the barrel aging. As you'd expect, probably relatively still. Barrel? I got it all in. I don't think it's conditioned. If it is, there's maybe just a thin slurry at the bottom. But yeah. Anyway, beer in the glass. Black as night, absolutely black as night. Really shiny, quite dark brown head. So this is 9.5, if I didn't mention before. Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. You're getting loads of that barrel. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, very much the quite a lively red grape going on in there. That raspberry really heightens that as well. I'm sure that's why they put that in there. You get that sourness, the tartness of raspberries. The vanilla comes later on. It's nice and smooth. It is quite a juicy raspberry aroma actually. It drops away, more earthy, rounded and roasted. But at the front it's all barrel and it's all raspberry. It's great. I like how it drops off though. Because towards more of what you expect a stout or an imperial porter. What's the difference between a stout and a porter? Some people say it's very little. Some people say it's roasted barley. I don't know. Anyway, smells great. I think they've just everything that's been added into this has been added in perfect kind of perfect occasion and the perfect volume. Smells great. Let's dive in. Cheers. Ho ho ho. Yeah. Oh. Wow, it takes you on a wild ride. First thing I got was red wine, tart raspberries, big sharp, quite jammy raspberries at the same time. Shavings of really intense dark chocolate. And I can see it in my mind's eye. Shavings of dark chocolate. The back end it does get a bit more roasty, but that red wine still knocks around. As does the raspberry. Yeah, those dark malts are peeking through. As is, and I think the vanilla might be just softening things a little bit. But it's all about sharp raspberry. It's all about barrel character. And from what I can read and what I'm tasting, a real big fruity, robust, quite spicy red wine. I'm not a big wine expert, I'm not a massive wine fan, but I can appreciate what it is. Stupidly drinkable for what it is, for the ABV I mean. Despite being kind of tangy and sharp and alcoholic in its flavour, but not in its strength. You know, I'm not getting much burn. I am getting a little warm, but not much. If you gave me this blind, yeah, it's not a million miles away from a sour, heading in that direction. If you give me it blind, I wouldn't say this was a dark beer. I don't think you get a hell of a lot of malt character through it, considering how dark that is. And it's an Imperial Porter at a significant ABV. So it's surprising that not as much comes through, but that barrel and that raspberry is huge, huge. When you go in for that first mouthful, it's kind of semi-Flemish red, semi kind of framboise, and then a little bit red wine. Oh, it's good though. It's just a really interesting, well put together beer, I have to admit. I mean, it's something very unique. I'm sure people are going to be absolutely clamouring for this because there's a real market for this type of beer at the moment. It's a little bit crazy. I mean, it's a little bit beyond what we kind of like see as beer. But I think that's a good thing. It's not something I drink a lot of. Take, for example, something like Jamaican ginger cake that Siren made last year. Loved it. I could drink it all day long, within reason. It's such a strong beer, but you know what I mean? The flavour is really accessible and really enjoyable in that sense, in a very straightforward sense. But this is a lot more complex, and it's just a lot more assertive and different. So it might not be the most approachable beer. I think people will buy it because it sounds great. I think people will enjoy it because it's a really well-made beer. So that's Bones of a Sailor, part 3. What happened to part 2 and 1 and 2? From the wonderful Siren Craft Brew in Fitchamstead, Berkshire. 9.5% ABV. Imperial Porter, aged in Pedro Ximenez barrels with... That's terrible. I hate people do that, but I mean, what am I going to say? Pedro Ximenez. Barrels with raspberry, cacao and vanilla. Sounds great. Well done. I'm Rob from HopZine.com. See you next time. Cheers.